nor anatomical physiological structure, but primarily the breath, which is improper predication. So understand what that means within the embodiment. The pavana, the vayu, the prana. Profound exhalations to flush out mundanity, temporality, which is a part of sanitization. To also flush out the individuality, which is ego manifestation, identity manifestation. There is an enormous amount of yoga in what we have commenced just now. Not so much of yoga will be there for rest of the class. Take note of it. We think most of the yoga is in the class to follow, and hardly any yoga in what we are doing, where we only invest 2, 4, 5 minutes or a meager time, where there is very, very, very profound yoga. Silent utterance of Om. 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 योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणम् सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् हरिः ओम्। Bow your head down to the heart and surrender there with exhalations. Drop the palms and open the eyes. So all of you will be settling down in Brick Setuban while I make certain initial comments for the lesson today. Settle down in Brick Setuban. Feet to the wall. Don't right away stretch your legs. Keep the legs bent for a while. Get the freedom in the back, waist, tailbone. So meanwhile, I will have to say something which I very briefly said just now. Brick Setuban. I said huge aspects of yoga, bulk of yoga is there in what you just now finished. And you think that most of yoga is going to now unfold. Many of you therefore think yoga commences after the so-called invocation, so-called prayers. I've umpteen number of times explained that it's not invocation only, it's not prayer only, it is much more than that. So I would repeat that. Huge yoga lies in what you commenced, with what you commenced in the class. But because we were unripe for many, many, many years and decades, it just became a pure invocation unrelated to class what follows, or prayers unrelated to what follows, and therefore we missed the chance of getting prepared better for quintessential yoga. So again, ponder over this. What we consider very trivial, the commencement of the class by the invocation prayer, is considered very, very trivial. As a matter of fact, much of yoga, essence of yoga, lies there. So ponder over this back home, figure out why it is. I told you, certain nouns, verbs, predicates came your way. It is worth pondering over them, a deep thought process over them, but that you cannot do in those 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So on a regular basis, back home, try to understand that, explore that. Anyway, now we are all used to hearing this in our time yoga. Our time yoga, it should be good for our body primarily. The wellness and well-being considers the body and mind. The psychological, mental, emotional mind, which is the tip of the iceberg. And we look for wellness and well-being in what we call as body and mind. The body is exoteric body. Body has ocean depth. If you have peeped into esoteric body, it has ocean depth or even more than that. It is quite on universal scale. Similarly, mind has ocean depth. But in general concept of wellness and well-being, we consider the body, which is the tip of the iceberg. We don't go for deep aspects of body. We don't reckon, we don't count, we don't include, we don't map deeper aspects of body, which are explained by Yoga Shastra, the science of yoga, philosophy of yoga, and Adhyatma. So also the case of mind. So therefore, you're all used to hear this. This is good for limbs. This is good for spine. This is good for abdomen. This is good for chest. This is good for lungs. And this is good for mind. And what is that mind? It's a tip of an iceberg, which is referred to by us in mental well-being. It is peripheral emotion, peripheral mind, peripheral sense of oneself. It's all very, very peripheral, topographic. And we don't include the deeper aspects of it. So, as I said, we are all familiar, and that's why we have embraced yoga, because this is good for my physical body, skeletal-muscular body, anatomical body, physiological body, glandular body, psychological body, psycho-mental body, psycho-emotional body, psycho-intellectual body. And therefore, we have embraced the subject of yoga. But primarily, the consumer yoga is for body. We try to get maximum wellness from the frontier of the body, from the front of the body. So we want to get most of our wellness by the wellness in our body and body system. Because our wellness is devastated by slightest unwellness in the body. You don't say, my body is not well, but I am well. Little unwellness in the body devastates your subjective entity. And you say, I am not well. I am not comfortable. I am not in wellness. And therefore, we know this is good for the anatomical body, kidneys, liver, stomach, colon, bladder, pancreas, lungs, heart, brain. And that's why we are doing yoga. This is mockery from the point of view of classical yoga. So also in other sciences, say dietetics, they will tell you, prescribe you, and it's all good for body matter. they don't prescribe anything which is good for mind. They will only prescribe something which is good for body matter, skin, flesh, muscles, bones, tissues, cells, physical brain, cellular body. And the whole dietetics considers the food for body. And nowhere it says this is good for your mind. And sometimes something might be good for body, but not good for mind. Something might be good for mind, but not good for body. But we set aside any wellness of that mind. But we, dietitians, they consider only wellness of the body as if you are existing physically only. No dietitian will speak about the mind. They will say, take vitamins, take proteins, take minerals, take iron, take this, take that. Why? For the body matter. Certain things might be very good for mind. They may not be that good for body, maybe little not so good for body, although not very bad for body, not so good. But then we abandon it because it's not good for body, as if we are not mind at all. So you look at any dietitian's book on dietetics. It will not say something is good for your mind, something is good for your emotion, something is good for your memory, something is good for your samskar, something is good for your subconscious mind. They don't prescribe anything for subconscious mind and even conscious mind. And they accept that there is a subconscious and conscious mind, modern science. But they don't prescribe anything as good for conscious, subconscious mind or various layers of mind. Only consider the body in dietetics. And if it is not good for body, we banish it. Therefore, many people have given milk products. There are many people who don't eat ghee, clarified butter, because that is not good for body. But it is good for our being. Annamayi saumyamana, tejomayi vak, apomayi pradaha. This is beautiful precept which has come in Upanishads. I won't talk on it. It's not a place to talk on. But there are so many people who have stopped taking milk products. It's a modern craze. No milk products are good. Milk should not be taken. Ghee should not be taken. Clarified butter, no. Many people have given up eating ghee. Why? Fat. But it is good for your intelligence. It is good for your psychic aspects, mental aspects, deeper mind aspects. Okay, let go. So also our yoga has become for peripheral, topographical body and topographical mind. Yoga is good for topographic body and topographic mind. Hope you understand what is topographic. The surface. As if wellness of the surface is our total surface, wellness. There is no logic. Surfacial wellness is not a complete wellness. That's why it's called surfacial. There might be some of you who have stopped taking milk products. This is a modern craze. Is that right? Modern craze. Don't eat milk products. They have certain nonsensical postulations. Milk is only good for an infant and milk is only good for decrepits. Others should not take milk. Clarified butter, banned. Butter, banned. Why? It is not good for body. It is not good for body because of our sedentary lifestyle. It is not good for our body because of our mental culture, environment that we live in. Anyway. So you have heard about this asana is good for kidneys, that asana is good for lungs, that asana is good for brain, that asana is good for liver, stomach, colon, bladder, spleen, pancreas, intestine, duodenum, and that's why we are all dedicated to yoga. Tell me if yoga had said that this is not for your liver, stomach, colon, bladder, spleen, pancreas, intestine, duodenum, lungs, heart, brain. Why would you embrace yoga? Why would you embrace yoga? So this is a popular yoga that we are having from 20th century. It started in 20th century. Popular yoga, so that it can become profession, it can become business, it can become industry. So, but yes, it can be done that way as a propagation, but somewhere essential yoga should be introduced as a baby dose, infant dose. But that is not being done. It should have been done. It's not done. I'm not blaming them for what they did. I am blaming for what they should have done and did not do. What they did was 100% right. But what they should have done was neglected. Anyway, so let's try to understand whatever you are going to do in the class now, how this is good for the mind. Let's take psychological mind, peripheral mind, temporal mind, brainy mind, empirical mind, because the brain is the locus of mind. We can't analyze the mind, study the mind by chopping the brain or neglecting the brain. We have to consider the brain only in the psychological domain. You can't say, I won't bother about the brain, but I will think of the mind. That is not done. Psychological mind is developed by the brain. So let us try to understand whatever you are going to do. Let us see how this is good for not the anatomical body, as we are emphasizing on it, but for brain. For head, brain, face, skull, senses, at least that location. Let's see how it is good for that. Right from surface. Facial skin to facial muscles to facial bones to facial flesh to facial cells to tissues and fibers and etc. To facial awareness, to the head, brain, to the skull, to the brain. And one of the most stimulating or conditioning or nutriating aspect is the exhalation. So let's try to work on brain confined exhalation, head confined exhalation, head, brain, face, skull, throat, senses, all that comes in that location. Let's see how the exhalation can work there. All of you go to the first rope away from the wall. First rope away from the wall. Rather than doing for anatomical, let it be done incidentally. But try to use the exhalation for head, brain, face, skull. Try to use the exhalation with reference to skin, flesh, muscles, bones, tissues, cells, fibers. First rope away from the wall. The postural aspect will come incidentally because you're all familiar with this. Why do you do physical pose? Why do you do what is called as Purvottan pose? Why do you just go for pose? So let's try to, the pose should, you're familiar with it. It will come by itself. It should come as a reflex action. Why should you do it intently, diligently? No Iyengar teacher will tell you do it casually. Once you are doing this pose, they will say do it formally, seriously, not casually. But I'm telling you, attend to exhalations and let the postural aspects fall in place. Let them come. You don't do it. You don't do it. You don't get them. Let them come in. Let them come in. So learn this culture and see that you exhale for head, brain, face, skull, senses, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, lips, throat, lobes, cortices. Exhale. Use the exhalation. It's an enormous nutrition to that mind. Exhalation is a great nutrient to the mind. And now try to let us devise the exhalation and customize the exhalation. Normal exhalation. deeper exhalation, more and more deeper, more and more and more deeper, deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, slower and slower and slower, thicker and thicker and thicker, normal to thicker and thicker and thicker, flush type, and then normal to thinner and thinner and thinner and waft and delicate. So you can undo and redo. You can undo and redo. So this is called Udanic confinement. Couple of recovery cycles you can do, mechanical cycles you can do. But try to customize the exhalation for the locus of your mind, which is the brain. Everybody traces the locus of the mind in the brain. Nobody traces the locus of the mind in the heart. Although we refer to that in our life. We refer to mind of the heart, but we don't refer to that. Usually we refer to it to the brain. And neurology says everything is in the brain. So as such, let's go to head confinement, brain confinement, face confinement, and slowly try to become more and more profound in your exhalations. You are allowed to take a break and again do it. Watch, sense, read, not only do, feel. So find out how this is the Bradescharal aspect, which I have already introduced you. So Bradescharal for the head, brain, face, skull. So let's see how it is good for psychological mind, how it is good for your sensory mind, how it is good for your facial mind, how it is good for your skull mind, brain mind, lobe, cortices, cerebral, all aspects of the brain, whatever you are able to identify, let's try to use the exhalation for them. Let the exhalation come by them. Let it be for them. Let it be on them. Let it be in them. Let it be by them. Let it be of them. Let go, relax. Sit for a while, listen. Sit. Sit. So let's try to develop this habit and outlook that we straight away start addressing the mind right from word go, which I've taken in the classes saying that right away go to Bradescharal. We all are used to giving prominence to posture, obsessionally go for posture, and then meagerly do something for mind. And we want the mind to evolve in yoga. We hardly do anything for mind. We do for anatomy, and we want the mind to improve. We are biased and do for anatomy. We want the mind to improve. We do for skeletal muscular system. We want the mind to improve. How will it happen? What is the logic in such a postulation? So let the exhalation be for, on, in, with the location, Udanic location. Head, brain, face, skull, throat. Normal duty exhalation, heavy duty exhalation, light duty exhalation. And let's try to address this psychological mind, peripheral mind, surface mind, and let us try to make it quieter, serene, sublime, noble. That's the nutrition of the mind. Giving happiness to the mind is not actually nutrition. It's a pseudo nutrition. Understand this. Because you will have heard this in the world. Be happy, mind will be nourished. That's a pseudo concept. Because it is a polarized condition. Happiness doesn't make you happy. That wellness is not depending on happiness. That's why they are economically miserable countries, but the studies have showed that people are better contented in a poorer country than affluent countries. Why is this? People are contented in destitute, poorer countries than affluent countries, rich countries. As a matter of fact, rich countries have more problems to their minds. This is proven fact. Anxiety, worry, this and that, etc., etc. So contentment doesn't depend upon your economic status. So contentment is what is nourishment to the mind. I'm not saying try to make your mind happy. Have I ever said do your asana and make the mind happy. Why is it that I have not said? Elsewhere you get the advice. Keep your mind happy. Keep your mind happy. Do the domestic work, be happy. Do office work, do happy. Be happy. Do professional work, be happy. Do anything, be happy. Try to be happy. Try to be happy. Happiness is not going to give solutions to our contentment. As a matter of fact, it is going to spoil. I'm not saying don't be happy, but be contented. And that yoga gives you that channel that you are not trying to actualize and bloom the happiness. You are trying to go for neutrality. That is going to be nutrition to mind. That is going to be nourishment to mind. That is going to be the conditioner to the mind, whereby the mind will be richer. Once again, do it. Rope away from the wall. So that in yoga technology, it's called Udanic breathing. And we are focusing on exhalations. So flush out. Initially, you will flush out the Rajoguna, flush out the Tamoguna. So you'll require heavy duty exhalation to flush out these parasites, which are malign, not benign. They are malign to the mind. There are malignancies to the mind. Rajatama gunas are malignancies to the psychological mind, mental mind, peripheral mind, surface mind, and therefore flush them out. You can undo, redo. Now try to observe, learn what I'm telling you, study out of what I'm telling you. Observe, study, understand, comprehend, thought process, perception, cognition, observation, sensation, and try to customize your exhalation. Normal duty to heavy duty, normal duty to feather touch light duty, normal volume to deeper and deeper and deeper volume, deeper volume but thicker, deeper volume but thinner, possibly deeper volume with normal as well as possible, which is a spiral exhalation. So exhalation for the brain. When I say brain, the whole there. Don't make me repeat all that. It is locus of psychological mind, empirical mind, temporal mind, peripheral mind, surface mind, worldly mind, mundane mind. Let's try to treat it. So exhale from it. Understand what is implied. Exhale on it. Understand what is implied. Exhale by it. Exhale in it. So exhale in, on, with, for, by, due to. So that should be breather, it should be breathing, it should be breathed. Hope you are able to decipher this. That location, breather. That location, breathed. And that location, breathing. So try to fathom. Try to figure out what is it that I'm putting across. You can undo, redo, try, observe, sense, feel, study, read. All that has to be falling in place. Rather than doing for lungs, doing for skeletal muscular system, doing for arm, doing for neck, doing for cervical, doing for shoulders. These are we are used to. This is good for shoulder, this is good for shoulder blade, this is good for arms, this is good for sockets, this is good for chest, this is good for lungs, this is good for ribs, this is good for sternum, this is good for shoulder blades. Why are we so corporeal, even after 30, 40 years of pursuit? That will fall in place. It is good for it. Yes, it will happen. But why should you do it? Intently, diligently for 30, 40 years. Let it happen now on its own. Let go. So I want you to understand how it is good for the location that we are targeting. The location is psychological locus, mental locus, consciousness locus. intellectual locus, emotional locus. Everything is there. Because they say emotional center is in the brain. Everything is in the brain, according to neurology. All centers are in the brain. So by handling that, you will be handling every aspect of your mind. So rather than doing this asana because it is good for chest, you do it. Okay, as a beginner, it is good for chest and lungs, do it. But after 30, 40, more and more, some of you are more than 40 years practitioners of yoga. Why do the same? For the same purpose. Quieten the brain, pacify the brain, ennoble the brain. See that it is these are the nutrients. It's not just becoming contented. You make the brain, the locus serene. You make the locus quiet, tranquil, serenity, quietude, placidity, sublimity, nobility. I've given the long list. All that should be identified and should be encouraged. I don't want to offend you, anyone. Do you know the entire list I have often shot at you? How many of you know by heart? I have said hundreds of times, thousands of times, you have heard it. Are you, have you registered? Tranquility, neutrality, virginity, sublimity, purity, piety, sanctity, nobility. Have you not heard this? That is what you have to do in yoga. What is the point in going for contented condition without all that? That is in the worldly realm. That you can be just contented. But yogic process is by this: tranquility, neutrality, virginity, sublimity, purity, piety, sanctity, sanity, equity, equanimity, equilibrium, neutrality. So all these facets must be identified, should be encouraged, should be harvested. So any asana that you are going to do today, it should be good for your brain. When I say brain, it is not neurological brain as mapped in the book of anatomy, but to this locus of psychological, mental, and all those conscious aspects. So try to have these facets there. Did you try to become quiet, serene, sublime, sedate, etc., in what you did? So go in a more formalized manner and try to see that you harvest all these qualities. Actually, you should be knowing this by heart. I have lost the count. I have said this tens of thousands of times in my classes. Sometimes I've said very slowly also: tranquility, neutrality, virginity, sublimity, purity. I have created these inflections, so it is easy to even by heart. It is easy to by heart. Because every predicate is ending with particular mobilization. Tranquility, neutrality, virginity, purity, piety, sanctity, sanity, sublimity, nobility. So therefore it is easy to by heart. This is Oriental wisdom. If you want to by heart something, you have to compose it in such a way that it is easy to by heart. There is a poetry in it. Indian mind has poetry inherently in it, traditionally. Anyway, last round of your ropes, and I want you to see that you harvest. You give that to the brain and the brain reaps it. I want you to make it that, I want that to make those qualities. Make the brain neutral, neutrality should emanate. Make the brain quiet, quietude should radiate. Every predicate here. So from these facets, this is a yogic way of becoming contented. It is not remaining contented by whatever you have. It's the helplessness, haplessness, hopelessness with which people are otherwise contented in the worldly realm. I am contented. What? Physically unhealthy, financially weak, economically in a struggle, but contented. But that is helplessness, haplessness, hopelessness. That only works in mundane life, but in yoga. So see that these facets are there. Neutrality given to brain, neutrality emanating, everything, tranquility. You have to spray tranquility and it should radiate tranquility. Exhalation with exhalation. The location as a breather should do that. The location as a breathing apparatus, instrument, agency should do that. As a breathed condition, as a beneficiary, these are the benefits of it. Tranquility, neutrality, virginity, sublimity, purity, piety, sanctity, sanity, equity, equanimity, equilibrium, etc. With normal breathing, conditioned deeper breathing, conditioned thicker breathing, conditioned deeper and thicker, deeper and thinner, deeper and thinner and thinner, deeper and finer and finer and finer. Waft delicate breathing as well. Flush out the brain, wash the brain, cleanse the brain, detense the brain, detox the brain. And now let go. So this was again brain pose. Understand what is meant by brain in the class today. What do I mean by brain? What do I mean by brain? Don't go by literal meaning, popular meaning, conventional meaning. I've given the concept idea of what is brain here. So how much this was a brain pose? Now all the poses which are going to follow, find out how much it is a brain pose. Now all of you go for rope dog pose. Go for rope dog pose. You can take the support. Don't do it for back. Do it for stretching the trunk. It will happen. You should not do it. Allow it to happen. You just confine and just be engaged with the brain region, which I've explained already, and exhalative. Exhalative. Inhalations at background, to background. And now proceed. Flush out the brain, empty the brain, water the brain, wash the brain, cleanse the brain. Find out exhalation itself is a kind of feeding. It's a feeder. And that's why it should not be called as exhalation. It's a feeder. It feeds your brain. It nourishes your brain. It conditions your brain. So let's see, highlight the dimension here that, or the perspective here, that it is a brain pose. That is mind pose. So mind detensed, detoxed. Unless it is detensed and detoxed, you will not be able to get the positive qualities in it. You can't say, let the bacteria of tension be there and still I will become quite neutral, etc., etc. You can't get those predicates. When there is a toxic element in the brain, so detox, detense, de-stress, empty it out by the Rajatama bacteria, Rajatama parasites, flush them out, sweep them out. So with the normal to thicker to thinner, profound exhalation. So try to go for Adhamukha Svanasana, brainial, facial, brainial. You know the facial. So you are familiar with that word facial, for which you go to parlor or spa. You go to a beautician. But here yoga is a mind beautician, mind beautifier. So go for that kind of facial, that kind of brainial, that kind of scullial, that kind of headial, that kind of sensial. You can let go for a while, be mechanically there, again start, you can undo and redo. You can take a break and again do it. So find out how will you improve this process, exhalative process. Exhalative is not only detoxifier, de-stressor, but also nourisher. So it will also supply those qualities that which I have listed today also, the tranquility, neutrality, etc. So try to figure out, is that all happening? It can happen in yoga. You can't be in a other place and try to go for tranquility and neutrality. Let go come up. In yoga, you have wonderful scenario, situation. Come out and sit. Come out and sit. So yoga is a place where you can have sumptuous or quite enormous supply of all these. You can't do it outside in the world. I can't take you to a horror movie and say be neutral. I cannot take you to a romantic movie and say be serene and quiet. You will be excited looking at a romantic movie, adventurous movie. What happens? I cannot take you to a restaurant and say be neutral in your mind. Serving all delicacies in front of you, I cannot say be neutral. I cannot take you to recreation center and say be neutral. I cannot take you to a cinema house, multiplex and say be neutral. I cannot take you bustling airport with bustling crowd and a railway station, metro station and say be neutral. Can I do that? I cannot take you to alien's house and say be quiet and be neutral. I cannot take you to unfamiliar people's house and say be quiet and be serene and be neutral. You are unfamiliar with the people. So in the worldly realm, there is no scope for all that. Here there is sumptuous supply of all these qualities. That is why it is called yoga. For all these qualities, I cannot take you to multiplex. I cannot take you to recreation center. I cannot take you to entertainment center. I cannot take you to the bar, restaurant, clubs. I cannot take you there. Alternately, I can only take you to a sublime nature. Where there is sublime nature, I can to the shrine. Not elsewhere, nowhere else. I cannot take you to a restaurant with bewitching, enticing aromas and they say tranquility, neutrality, virginity, sublimity, purity, piety, sanctity, sanity. Out of place. It is out of place. Anywhere else it is out of place except if you are a deistic person, the shrine will work. If you are not a deistic person, shrine won't work. You will look here and there and appreciate. If it is there something to appreciate the architecture and artwork, you will appreciate. You should be devotee, then that will happen in shrine. If you are agnostic person, skeptic person, how will it happen? Can I take an agnostic person, skeptic person take him to a shrine and say, be quiet, be neutral, be serene, be sublime. Is it possible? The person is boiling with his ideas as atheist. Yoga, if the atheist gets to yoga, he will be able to avail of it. He won't be availing that in a shrine. He will be becoming like a furnace. You take any atheist person, a skeptic person, agnostic person, and take to your personal deity shrine. He will be doubly heated up. He will be a furnace. But put him to yoga. Put him to yoga. There is a scope. There is a chance. Yoga is a place. This is what you are doing is a place for that. So you can harvest all these qualities. It will radiate these qualities. You can supply these qualities to brain. It is both ways. You supply this to the brain and the brain supplies to the whole existence in you. All of you settle down to Bharadwaj. Say, let's not see how it is good for spine, how it is good for back, how it is good for abdominal organ, how it is good for pelvis, perineum, hip, etc. Let's not, we know how to go by that route, that it is good for your physical skeletal muscular system. But let's go by this direction today. It is not every time, but today in the class. Start. Head, brain, face, skull on the monitor. Monitoring. Objectify the brain. When I say brain, everything included. I'm not referring to the conventional word brain. It is a bracket. It is including head, brain, face, skull, senses, lobes, cortices, psyche, consciousness. When I say senses, eyebrows, eyelids, eyeballs, pupils, cornea, retina. When I say mouth, lips, teeth, jaw, palate, throat, tongue. When I say nose, membrane, septum, gate, root, roof. It is referring to outer ear, mid ear, inner ear, side ear, back ear, bottom ear, top ear. It is referring when I say senses. Exhalatively try to find out how it will be nourishing, how it will be nourishment, how it will be tranquilizer, how it will be neutralizer, how it will be virginizer. There is no such inflection in English. You know what is virgin? What is virginity? I don't have to explain you that. Virginizer. You may not be virgin, but you can be a virginizer. Is that right? You may not be virgin, but you can be virginizer. You can be virginized. You can be virginizing. Sublimator. You may not be sublime by character, but you can be sublimator. You can be sublimated. You can be sublimating. So the brain can be sublimated. Brain can be sublimating. Brain is sublimator. So try to decipher, figure out what I'm trying to put across by observation, by sensation, by awareness, by sensing, by feeling, by experiencing. Now, this is yogic contentment, where it is studied by all these qualities. It might be boredom for you if I repeat: tranquility, neutrality, virginity, sublimity, purity, piety, sanctity, sanity, equity, equanimity, equilibrium. That is the yogic contentment. Watch the front of the brain, back of the brain. You have the lobes there, frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe, temporal lobe. You have front of the brain, head, back of the head, sides of the head, outer head, epiperipheral head. So slowly also go deeper inside from the periphery, epiperipheral, to internal layers of the brain. Internal layers, when I say brain, everything included. Please don't me repeat that. I am not using it as it is used conventionally. In the modern pragmatism, in the modern scientific world, or in the modern man's parlance. When they say brain, they don't include senses. The common man, when he says brain, he doesn't include the skull. When he says brain, he doesn't include the skin. When he says brain, he doesn't include the flesh and muscles. But this is a broader concept. Please become familiar with it. And now try to go by that. Exhalative. So the physical, skeletal-muscular, anatomical aspects should be slowly falling in place, not disturbing this main purpose. Now the other side. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying don't do it, allow it to happen. I want that to happen. Your posture should happen. You're all used to doing postures. That's your indoctrination. The posture should happen. Physical, skeletal, muscular, corporeal things should happen. All the locations of the anatomical body should happen. But you should have this on the anvil and then find out the process. So I told you about profound volume, but in 3 velocities. Normal velocity, thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner velocity, thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker velocity. It will do that management. So let me tell you about the nuances. Your head can be to the left, do that. Head can be to the right, do that. Head can be straight, do that. Head can be back, do that. Head can be down, do that. So that it will be more comprehensive. Other things should fall in place. Because you're all used to that in Iyengar classes, under Iyengar teachers. You must do every single thing. Have you done it? Have you done it? Have you done the legs? Have you done the hips? Have you done the buttocks? Have you done the back? Have you done the chest? Have you done the waist? Have you done the abdomen? Have you done the shoulders? Have you done the shoulder blades? They expect you to do everything. That is the beginner's hierarchy. Come out of it. I want that to happen. So as a sample, I'm taking only one twisting pose. Bharadwaj, let go. Because it's a class format. For you to escalate, it might be advisable to do second time and third time. For you to escalate, it might be advisable to do second time, third time, fourth time. But because of the class framework, I am not doing it. However, I am revealing it, that you have to become more profound. So once may not be sufficient, certainly not sufficient. Maybe twice, maybe thrice, maybe more times. So this is underlying aspect, which I am not bringing on the surface for you to do it second time. Now, as a variant, sit in Virasana or Swastikasana or Chairasana, and Parvatasana hands for brain. Find out. This is upright position. This is upright position. Virasana, Swastikasana, Chairasana. Sitasana on the chair. And now Parvatasana. Now you do only know the posture. Let it be Udanik. Let it be perennial. Now when I say perennial, see that there is facial, There is musceal, there is bonial, there is cellial, every cell, hard tissue, soft tissue cells. It is sensial. So again, exhalatively, with all those, the whole quiver of your exhalations, voluminous exhalations of different kinds, brain confinement exhalations. So you supply the qualities, let the qualities be emanating from the brain. Let the brain be breather, breathed, and breathing. So I want that neutral mind, neutral brain, neutral chemistry of the brain. Now you never attempt this in your Parvatasana. You are intently looking at your trunk, anatomy, stretch of the body, lift of the body, locking of the elbows. Is that right? I'm not saying don't do that. It should happen. Let go. Take the arms down. Now go to Supta position. Supta Virasana, Supta Swastikasana. So chair people can come out. Supta Swastikasana, Supta Virasana. So this was upright position. Now it is supine position. Again, perennial for the mind. Quieten the mind, sublimate the mind, serene the mind, detox the mind, de-tense the mind, de-stress the mind. Listen to the new predicate, new inflection I'm using. Deturb the mind. You know turbulence. You know the turbulence of the brain. Is that right? You know what is turbulence in the brain. Turbulence of the brain. Deturb the mind. So in what you do, we require to have this language. It may not be required in your communication English. The communication business activity of life, you don't need. But you experience this turbulence in the worldly condition. So opposite of turbulence is quietude. They take a sedative and then they overcome the turbulence. But here you are not taking a sedative or tranquilizer. You are taking deturb, going for deturb process. So find out how the exhalation can do the deturbing. Deturbing. Don't wrongly hear disturbing. I'm saying deturbing. So is it not possible for your brain, which includes the skin, flesh, muscles, bones, tissues, cells, cavities, nerves, senses, parts of senses, skull, parts of head, brain, lobes, cortices, cerebral parts. So otherwise, Suptarasana is good for your abdomen, good for your chest, and you want stretching your trunk because it is good to extend the body. So we are all used to corporeal Supta Virasana. I want you to identify this as well. I'm not saying only do what you are doing today. I'm not sure do every day what you are doing today. But this is a precept. This is a chapter that I have opened out. You have to also open out this chapter while you do on your own your practices. Now come up. So why not all the asanas that you are doing, you identify it is good for my brain. And brain is what I have already explained. I have taken a bypass, I would have taken Adho Mukha Virasana. I have taken a bypass. So let me reveal that to you. How will you go for whitening the brain and doing the same to the brain while you are in Adho Mukha Virasana? You will try that back home. I am taking shortcut because of the limitation of the class timing. Now all of you come up, stand up in Tadasana. Again, brainial. Stand in Tadasana. All other things should fall in place. Don't do, because teachers in class make you do. Feet together, toes together, thighs together, etc., etc. Now that should fall in place. Brain, watch. It's watching. It's watcher. Brain, experiencer, experienced, experiencing. Brain, felt, feeler, feeling. Brain, felt, feeler, feeling. This is possible in this domain of the body. Exhalation, again, profound exhalations. Different kinds of exhalation. Now, I will also introduce you another facet of it. Let's try to take recourse to the three vowels. Three vowels. A, U. Find out. A, U. Use one vowel for one exhalation. And then see how the brain is addressed differently, the brain is addressing differently, brain is addressed differently by the three vowels. A, U. So is it not a classified way? Is it not classified way? There are three classes of A, U. They significantly work differently. When your exhalation is profound, when the exhalation is profound and deep, when the exhalation is deep and profound, and thick and profound, and thin and profound, watch. So additional is a kind of classified process. So we never do Tadasana as brainal. We do so physical cultural, so skeletal-muscular. Yes, that is an aspect. I'm not saying that should be sidelined or neglected or overlooked, but add this facet as well. Now let go, relax. So did you identify? So far we did not use A, U, A, U. Did it not matter? This is yoga technology. So different facets of tranquility. So in Swara Kriya, you will have 10 facets of tranquility, 10 facets of neutrality, 10 facets of virginity, sublimity, purity, piety. 10 facets are available by Swara Kriya. This is the marvel of the technology. This is the digital aspect of technology. High-tech aspect of technology of yoga. So let us be chemically aligned in the brain. In the sense, aligned in the brain chemistry. So that there are no polarities, no swing towards the polarities, so the neutrality. Now you all will be going for Utthita Hasta, optionally Supta Padangusthasana, in case you are not in a position to stand and deliver, lie down and deliver. Utthita Hasta or Supta Padangushta. Right from word go. Brain, balance it. Brain, balance it. Brain, balancing. Brain, balanced. Brain, balancer. And the exhalative process. So identify what is there. The brain, watcher, watched, watching. Brain, sensor, sensed, sensing. Brain, experiencer, experiencing, experienced. Nowhere I'm suggesting neglect other parts because you are in a network. So have a good network so you won't be keeping anything out of connectivity. Alexandra, what are you doing? I said Suptapada Mushtasana. Utthita or Suptapada Mushtasana. Lie down and do it. Now the other side. So this is the mind-channel dimension highlighted. Asana, do not suggest in any way, neglect the posture, neglect the posture, only mind-gesture. It is all inclusive process. But today, for the sake of education, we are highlighting it. It is on the anvil. It is on operation table. It is on monitor. It is on monitor in a way that it is monitored and monitoring as well. Exhalative process. So detox, deturb, de-stress. There is a word in English called angst. Angst. A-U-N-G-S-T. Angst. So de-angst. It's a combination of anger and anxiety. Anger and anxiety. Angst. So this is a process to go for what is called as Kshatripus, de kama, de krodha, de lobha, de moha. I am using the breed of English language and Sanskrit terms. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsaryam. So de kam, de krodha, de moha, de lobha, de matsara, de moha, de lobha, de matsara. The D is English. So it's a crossbreed. So let's try to know how all and any asanas can be good for this mind locus. Now let's go. Okay. Whether it is Shirshasana, whether it is Viparidandasana, whether it is Trikonasana, any asana. So try to understand what is the subject that is being put across today. It is one of the several subjects of asanology. Okay, now all of you will be going for Trikonasana, same way. In Trikonasana, I will not tell you when to come up. I won't suggest change of sides while you are in Trikonasana, because I want to also add another precept to the class today, which I will explain little later. Trikonasana on the right side. You can do with support because you are doing for this mind gesture aspect. You can take good amount of support. So that you have better freedom for the things to happen. So see that the brain chemistry is balanced. Even if the head is turned to left, chemistry should be balanced. It should not be left inclined, left leaning. It should be balanced. All the head is turned to left side. The right arm down. Head can be straight, balanced. Head can be turned up, balanced. Head can be down to the right, again balancing it. You can't take the head back if you are at the wall. Others can perhaps take the head back as well, but see that the brain is floating in a balanced condition. I won't say when to come up and to change the sides. Watch, sense, feel, experience. And let's try to know what the asanas are good for your mind. From peripheral mind to deeper and deeper mind. And with different asanas, it will definitely have the penetration increasing, extent increasing. A, U. A, U. Normal duty, heavy duty, light duty. Profound exhalation, deeper exhalation. So also, for a while, you can try the finer, tender, soft inhalation as well. And let us try to know how the inhalation is a nourishment. How the inhalation is tranquilizer, neutralizer, virginizer, sublimizer. So let's try to understand how the inhalation also can be used, which should be thin, fine, rarefied. That's the limitation of the inhalation. You can't make it thicker and work the way you want to work. In case that you want to do, you have to open out the nasal passages by lips rolled in, etc., which I have taught you. Otherwise, keep the breathing thinner and finer and rarefied. Let it be soothing the brain, soothing the chemistry of the brain, rather, soothing the chemistry of the brain. Use a, u. Continue using even for inhalation. So we understand with Swara Kriya, we are opting for the 3 out of 10. And how? They are working in a classified manner. Because the classified means different classes. These are 3 classes. A, U. I won't suggest change of sites. You will be doing on your own. So your in-breath can be also soother, soothing, Brain can be soothed and soothing. Brain can be soother and soothed. When I say brain, I have said what is that bracket. Understand? Bear that in mind. The brain can be quietened, is quietening as well. Brain is quietener, quietening, quietened. It is sublimated, sublimating, sublimator. It is neutral, it is neutraling, it is neutraler. I have avoided that inflection neutralizer because in popular English it has a different meaning. So watch, observe, sense, perceive, cognize, experience. Understand why there is a lot of education available with regards to brain. This education will not come to even a neurologist who might be super specialist, who might be the top, the best in the world neurologist. Yet he has no idea of this technology. Virabhadrasan 2 after your left side. Virabhadrasan 2. Sometimes back home has supports for your extended arms also, so that you have better process. Not here in the class, but back home. See that your arms are supported if you do at the wall. See that the arms are looped to a belt so that they are held. They are held. Don't do now today. Not everyone can do. Back home, try to devise it. So when you are well supported, then the scope is better for you to handle the precept, bloom and blossom the precept. Both I have also included inhalation now, understand? I have included swara kriya, three swara kriyas. A, U. Change of sides is on your own. The posture should fall in place. The physicality, the physical dimensions of alignment, symmetry, etc., should fall in place. In case of Guruji, he was not doing all those things. They were falling in place. Understand this. Not that he was doing everything intently, meticulously, like you're all doing. It was like you think that is sincerity. If you do very meticulously and intently and diligently, why is it that it cannot happen? So in case of Guruji, it was happening. The posture was happening. He was not doing the posture. He was going for yoga. Posture was happening. And you are all stuck in posture. Therefore, yoga doesn't happen. Virabhadrasan 1. So here the head can be straight, head can be back. But in any case, the chemistry of the brain should be balanced. Balancing. So back home, you can take support for your arms so that you don't have to sustain the arms, like I've taught you with the rope. So I taught you the exhalative and inhalative. Let me add to that. Circular rotary breathing of the brain confinement. Circular rotary breathing. Normal rotary. If you want to deepen it, in the circular process, you can deepen it. In a graduated manner, you can be deepening, that is, the completing the process of your exhalation, even if it is orbital normal breathing. There is also technology to complete the process of your exhalation, although it is orbiting normal breathing. So the brain process can be completed even it is normal orbits. A, U. The change of sides is on your own. So exhalation and inhalation. Then circuitous. So I am adding the dimensions gradually. Before that, I said A, U. Before that, we did not do the prana kriya. So it was Shwasayamic process. Then I brought the pranayamic aspect. When you finish the left, let go. Anyway, let me also introduce another precept of the class, which is not introduced today. I said you have to change on your own. You can sit. You can sit down on the chair. I said you can change on your own. I want you to put a question. You all know that in Iyengar system, there is timing. That's a characteristic condition in Iyengar yoga. Is that right? Sequencing, timing. What is timing? What is concept of timing for you? So it is in terms of seconds and minutes. Is that right? But then that requires a chronometer. It is the chronometer will tell you so many seconds and so many minutes and so many hours. In an age-old subject, we did not have chronometers. There were no Rolex watches, Omega watches. Patanjali did not have a wristwatch that I'm going to do for 90 seconds or 10 minutes or 20 minutes. What is the timing? I have many times said Guruji was using a stopwatch and all his followers were using timers. What's the difference between a timer and a stopwatch? You did not dwell into it. Everyone started using timer. No, stopwatch is not a timer and timer is not stopwatch. Timer tells you time. Stopwatch tells you time. The timer tells you time when the time is over. Stopwatch will tell you the time throughout. None of his dedicated students, those who were trying to emulate him. Emulation went to the extent of forehead mark, dhoti, other things, and his mannerisms in teaching. But nobody emulated his use of the stopwatch. Nobody questioned him. Why Guruji stopwatch? Why not timer? Why do you have to look at the stopwatch? You close your eyes and timer will tell you 10 minutes over. Anyway, what is timing? So therefore, I put a question. You all came up and changed the side. What was the criteria to come up and change the side? What is the basis for you to come up and change the side? So you are all whimsical in changing the side. Otherwise, you are not whimsical people. You are not whimsical in the class. None of you are whimsical in the class. But when you changed, it was a whim. It was whim. And in that sense, it is whimsical. Why did you change the side? What was the criteria? So the criteria may be difficult, you can't put up physically, therefore you came up. You had difficulties, encountered problems, difficulties, therefore you came up. Okay. It is okay. If you come up for those reasons, nothing wrong. That it was inability on your part, incapacity on your part, you could not put up, you could not tolerate, you could not withstand, and therefore you changed, justified. Justified. But what is not justified is, listen to this. You are able to put up, yet you came up. Why? What was the reason to come up? It's an irrational way to come up. It is quite rational way to come up in case you had difficulty, you have problem, you can't put up, you can't withstand, you came up, justified. But without these reasons, if you came up, not justified. Then what? Why is it? Suppose you could have stayed another 10 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever time. You did not come up because of the whimsical mind. It said, enough. You missed the bus. Because the things were to happen in the following second, but you terminated. Yoga happens. Yoga happens. Yoga is not done. So maybe you came up and maybe next second something was to happen. Or in 10 seconds, something was to happen. In 15, 20 seconds, something was to happen. which you did not allow it to happen. If you came up without justifiable reason, then you missed the bus. Because yoga is coincidence. For coincidence, you have to allow the time. Now, if you don't allow the time because of impossibility, justified. You cannot be giving time because of incapacity, justified. Do you every time come down from Shirshasana because you are now dead duck or you are suffering? If you are suffering, you come down, justified. Why do you come down? You decide to do 20 minutes and you come down. This is not a yogic principle. You decided 20 minutes of Shirshasana, 20 minutes over, you came down. This is not justified. Because something was to happen in 21st minute or 22nd minute, which you could have pursued, but you did not, you missed the bus. So timing is that aspect whereby you will reduce the chance of missing the bus because of all these other factors which become criteria which are unyogic criteria. So Guruji was keeping a stopwatch. He wanted something to happen. And he wanted to just figure out how long it takes today to happen. It's not that he decided 30 minutes of Shirshasana and had a stopwatch and did 30 minutes. Sometimes he overstayed. Even if in the mind he decided 30 minutes I'll do, he overstayed because he was looking what is happening at the 30th minute. Is there anything on the horizon? He waited for 31st minute. He waited for 32nd minute. The timer users, this is not at all in their scope. It is a beep, come down. We all miss our bus because we are wrongly construed the timing. That anchor system, you must stay 1 or 2 minutes in standing poses, 2 or 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, or 8 to 10 minutes, or 10 to 20 minutes, or 20 to 30, 40 minutes. That's not the timing. The timing is important for yoga to happen. If you don't allow the time, how will it happen? So most of us are doing yoga for yoga not to happen. That's a paradox. We are all doing yoga for yoga not to happen because of lack of this education. Because yoga is going to happen. You don't do yoga. You do something for yoga to happen. And if you don't allow the time for happening, like suppose the gestation period, 9 months and 9 days. Now, if you don't allow that, mother doesn't allow 9 months and 9 days. If you don't allow the gestation period to happen, like you want other things are very, very, very quick. Now, is it good to have the child in 7th month? Is it good to have the child in 7 months and 2 weeks? 7 months and 1 week? Why? A quick, hurried. So I will get the baby quickly. Is it good? Is it right? Is it proper? Premature delivery. And then, lifelong problems to you, lifelong problems to child, perhaps. So mother has to wait 9 months, 9 days, and even plus. Our science say, even the science says 9 months, 9 days, and plus. Possibly even more also time it will take. But today, because of this business of it, cesarean. I don't know whether you have heard about it. Vyasa's grandfather. Vyasa's grandfather called Shakti. Shakti was in the womb of his mother for years and years. Because the mother understood that if the child is out, the alien is waiting at the door to kill the child. If she did not want the child to be killed, the Shakti was the name of the child. Vasishtha was father of Shakti. So she had this will, I will not deliver the child until it is safe time for it to be delivered. Arundhati, her name was Arundhati, Vasishtha's wife. So she put up with the child in the belly for several years. Because Vishwamitra was waiting, he wanted to vanquish the race of Vasishtha. Because Vasishtha was a sworn enemy. So he was waiting to finish the race. The moment the child is born of Vasishtha, I will kill it, so that the race of Vasishtha will not continue. They were sworn enemies. And she bore the child in the belly for years, so much that when Shakti was born, he was able to utter Vedas, recite Vedas, chant Vedas. Vasishtha asked him, where did you learn all this? He said, I learned in the womb. Because when I was in the womb, you people will be around chanting Vedas, and I heard the Vedas. The just born baby doesn't have speech organ. A just born baby doesn't have speech organ. But the Shakti we chanted Vedas scientifically. So he said, I learned it in the womb. Because my mother was around when in the Vedashala Patshala. So I heard all the Vedas. And therefore, the moment he came out, he knew Vedas by heart. He stayed for years. The time has to be allowed. If it is depending on happenings, the time has to be allowed. So we are all doing yoga sincerely, dedicatedly, honestly, for yoga not to happen. Why? We decide. 1 minute on each side, 2 minutes on each side, 10 minutes of Shirshasana, 10 minutes of Sarvangasana, 2 minutes of Janu Shirshasana, 2 minutes of all forward bends. We decide the time. This is the antithesis. This is the essential meaning of timing. It is not a stipulated time, decided time, predetermined time. That is not the concept of timing in Iyengar Yoga. At your hierarchy, I am divulging that, revealing that to you. So question is, why did you come out? When I said you will do on your own, what made you to come up? If there was difficulty, justified. Without difficulty, if you came up, not justified. Anyway, that precept I wanted to also put it across today, because when particularly if you are doing a posture which the physical endeavor, then you do very intensely, then you get the body problem, body pain, body cannot withstand, the body will be dead duck, and then it will come down. This happens in physical culture. In Bredo culture, Bindo culture, you will never become a dead duck. In physical culture, every chance you will become a dead duck. Particularly if you are a young person. Stay in Urdhvanasana. Stay. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Collapse. Dead duck and you fall. It can happen to youngster in a posture. Because he will try to do his or her best. Let me try, let me stay. And ultimately, with a sigh of relief, come down with a bang. Come down with a whoosh push. Youngster will do it. Anyway, ponder over the concept of timing. I cannot tell you more. in the time that you have given for me for the class to be taken. So this was only a side dish in your plate, or even post, what do you call, pudding at the end of the party, after the pudding, and you people eat nothing after that. While Indians chew pan after that, betel leaves. The food is sumptuously taken up to brim. The last item is overtaken. Desserts, what you call as desserts. After the desserts, what? When the desserts are served, you should get up and go away. We don't have that. So even after dessert is served, yet there is something to be served, and that is appetizer, a digester. The betel leaves, betel nuts, lime, what we call as vida, on, vida. That is digester. It will help you digest the food better with the salivary glands. The chemistry of the betel leaves and whatever ingredients in it, it helps you digest the food better. So even after the desserts, we Indians still intake something. While your Western culture, after desserts over, you should walk away. Thank you. Goodbye. So timing is the very fundamental column for yoga to happen. Anyway, go for dog pose for a while, followed by Sarvangasana. Now, I give you complete liberty. Go for whatever you want to do, any physical stretch, because the whole class you have perhaps not done for anatomical gain, physical gains, skeletal-muscular gain, which has become signature condition of Iyengar Yoga, particularly when the youngsters are teaching. Dogmatic Iyengar Yoga is intensity. Quickly go for dog pose. Go for dog pose at the rope or independently, whatever way. And go for your physiocracy, which you missed in the class. So you can do masculine dog pose. I don't want feminine dog pose. Even if you are a woman, masculine dog pose. That is how Iyengar Yoga is taught today, which is a stigma to Iyengar Yoga. And generation by generation, this is going to happen. Masculine dog pose, hybrid dog pose, trained dog pose. So it should not be boorish dog pose, hybrid. Now come out and go for Sarvangasana. Now go for Sarvangasana. Somebody is already in Sarvangasana. I said dog pose will be followed by Sarvangasana. You people don't hear it. It is what Teresa Abad. You straight away went to Sarvangasana. Anyway. So I just give little glimpse of that enormous principle in asanas is timing. Ponder over it. Have a reappraisal. Efface your concept of timing and replace it by what I have said today. Now in Sarvanga, I want you to have often Sarvanga Mudra. I want you to have more frequently Sarvanga Mudra. That is post-exhalative retention. So quickly arrange chair Sarvangasana, independent Sarvangasana, whatever kind of Sarvangasana you want to be doing, do it. And go for Sarvanga Mudra. Sarvanga Mudra. Often bring it. Now in Sarvanga Mudra, you can use the entire Swara Kriya. You can be recycling with the 10 Swara Kriyas, 10 vowels. So internally, you will be initializing varieties. Whether you feel them or you don't feel them, these are varieties. In a classified manner, in a classified way, because these are all classes. A, I, U, A, I, O, Au, Aha. These are classes. In that sense, I am using the inflection which you are not used to. Classified. Now there are under 9 minutes to go for end of the class. About under 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes to go for end of the class. You can take a call and you can go for variations. Sarvanga also try to go for timing. Try to taste and test. What is the idea of timing I said? So you can be using the timing in that essential sense, waiting for things to happen. If something is happening, don't interrupt it by variations or chair people legs back. Don't alternate it to perpendicular legs or vice versa. So try to also consider the concept of timing, which I introduced in a bit way, small way. So in classical yoga, the timing concept was by these various kriyas. Swara kriya, tattva kriya. The kriya had to complete. They were not using that chronological timer. Guruji in his previous incarnation was not able to use stopwatch. What was he using? The counter was breath. Counter was certain kriyas. Swara kriya, varna kriya, chakra, the tattva kriya, pran kriya, tattva pran kriya, tattva kriya, and the kriyas. And he waited for something to really happen. Did not stipulate, like we stipulate in the class, do 5 cycles to 3, 5 cycles up, 5 cycles stage, so on and so forth. That is for you as a learner, we stipulate some cycles. Do 5 cycles, 8 cycles, 10 cycles. So Guruji was yogi of several lives and not one life. Therefore, he became what he became. He was what he was. Variations can be also done justifiably. So it is not necessary that you will be doing timing, 1 minute each side, etc., etc. You think that is discipline. Mudra, even in variations, go for mudra, Ekapada mudra, Parshva Ekpad mudra, whatever variation, go for mudra. So it means I am allowing that your right side, left side may be uneven time. No problem about it. It is not indiscipline because you are not able to have the time sense. If you don't have the timer, you don't have the time sense. Little under 5 minutes to go. You can take a call in case you also want to do halasan. We have what are variations, ekpat, parsha ekpat, karnapid, etc. And mudra. Every asan go for mudra giving prominence. Watching, sensing, experiencing. Can you combine the previous precept of the class to the later precepts of the class? Little over 3 minutes to go. So the gauge of timing in classical time was breaths, breathing, either normal breathing of the pose or customized breathing or some scheme such as one deeper exhalation, one normal exhalation, or some such format. Now you don't have to count the cycles by number because if you go by swara, the 10 swaras mean 10 cycles. If you do each swara twice, 20 cycles. If you do each swara 3 times, 20 cycles, which is a memory computation, which I explained already. You don't have to mentally compute. By memory, you can easily compute numbers such as 1, 2, 3, or more than 1, 2, 3 numbers. Memory computation is there. You don't have to have mental computation as well all the time. So if you do 2 rounds, then you don't have the sense of time. 3 rounds, sense of time, not in terms of seconds and minutes, because there were no seconds and minutes in Patanjali's time. The classical Indians had different units of time that you can Google search. Under 2 minutes to go. You can take your call for halasan in case if you want to do that. So breathometer, not a chronometer. Chronometer is out of after the Industrial Revolution. Before that, you know, there were timing was by sand vessels. The sand in the vessel and the sand would be slowly poured out of the vessel. So that was giving some kind of time sense. So we have concepts such as kshana, nimisha, ghatika, etc., etc. Like you have seconds, minutes, and hours. Half a minute to go. Now perhaps you can go for closure so that it won't be abrupt closure. So the time is up. Come up, all of you, that's all. Let me tell you the word hour in English, H-O-U-R. From where has it come? Hora. In our Oriental thought, it was Hora. And the Hora became hour, H-O-U-R. They pronounce it hour. Why don't they spell O-U-R, hour? They don't say hour. They don't say 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. But why did they bring H? It has come from Hora, because the Hora is the duration of 1 hour. So there are 24 Horas in a day. And the Hora was stolen by the Western mind, and they call it hour, pronounced it as hour. Anyway, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your opportunity to me. Namaskar all of you.
धन्यवाद.
Pranam Guruji.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Pranam.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Pranam sir, धन्यवाद.
See you next week. Bye
Thank you very
bye.
much.
Thank you, Prashant ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.